Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to the ship review on the Kronshtadt. And this 6.7 Soviet battlecruiser is something different. I have never seen that combination of tankiness, sturdiness, and absurdly good guns. You will see this later in the stats. It also will show itself in the gameplay. But let me just clarify here one thing. There are numbers, and then there is how it feels. This ship is just something else, and I think a lot of people have recognized this as well, because never have I been so focus fired from multiple ships from the very start of the battle as in this thing. And even then it took them like 5 minutes to put me down. It's absurd, and this is what I want to show you in today's Kronshtadt review. And, well, as usual, we'll start with the armor. The armor scheme is basically all or nothing. 230mm on the side belt, a single belt. Then we have the front bulkhead with 330mm. The deck is a mighty 90mm. This is unprecedented. Another 14mm barbette, 330mm. And for the turret front, 305mm, and that is angled. Rear bulkhead is a bit weaker, 275mm, and also one of the front turrets is a bit hindered in the firing angle, but when you angle forwards, then it's really excellent. Even the secondaries have enough armor to not immediately get HE spammed or splashed. The bridge is a bit protected, so this is simple but highly effective. In particular, if you angle. If you give broadside, then you will take significant damage, of course. And yeah, again, I have never blown up from a single magazine detonation, and also the usual problems with the flooding is for every ship in the current patch the case. Now let's talk about those Soviet fantasy guns that the Kronshtadt has. We have 9 305mm/45 B50 guns with 900 rounds of ammunition in total, so 100 rounds each, and we have a 20-second reload. So this is in the region of the Scharnhorst, as well as the effective DPM of 27 rounds per minute. Now those are only 12-inch guns. The highest is here the Hood and the Bayern with 15-inch guns, but it's also the gun handling. We have a fast turret traverse. We have 6 guns facing forward. We also have good firing angles for the rear turret, and we have good protected turrets. So this is already pretty nice to have. And as well as if you have to shoot an enemy, you do damage and you shoot them again before the damage con is completed, inflicts even more damage. So this is highly effective, but it depends on what the shells actually do. See the video on the Scharnhorst. So let's have a look at the shells we have available. The Kronshtadt has access to only 2 shell types, but they pack quite the punch. So first let's have, at the middle of the Excel spreadsheet, a look at the HE basic round, the stock round. We have 72mm of penetration coming from a mighty 55 kilogram heavy warhead. This is all the more surprising as this warhead even beats the USS Arizona's 14-inch guns and is closer to 2.5 times what the Scharnhorst packs in its 11-inch guns, and that in a shell that gets fired at the enemy with 1,000 meters per second. The accuracy is still quite good. 20-second reload, fast turret traverse, 9 guns. With that DPM, I have hit repeatedly cruisers that were dodging at 14 kilometers and dealt really serious damage to them. Those guns are no joke. Even more when we look at the APHE. So as you can see, the Kronshtadt has here 677mm of penetration at a kilometer's distance. That beats even the 15-inch guns of HMS Hood and SMS Bayern, or the 14-inch guns of USS Arizona. At 10 kilometers, we are more in a realistic region, I'd say, with 415mm, still beating the 15-inch guns of the Bayern and the 11-inch guns of the Scharnhorst, just to mention here a few. And still, we pack a mighty warhead of 18.8 kilograms. So that is beating all the 14-inch guns and the 13.5-inch guns. And that again with a 900 meters per second mass velocity. Now interesting here is the statistic about the fuse delay of 0.05 seconds. I found that versus broadside targets, that might not be that effective, still does a lot of damage, but especially versus bow-in targets, you still can get into the guts of the ship, the magazines, the machinery, and deal the appropriate damage. So those guns are just rail guns. They are accurate, they're fast firing, the shells hit hard, you have enough ammunition, you're not really that squishy when it comes to the armor. It's a fantastic ship. So let's have a look at the secondary batteries, and we can see we only have 8 152mm/57 B38 guns. We also have quite the low ammunition count, so it's basically half what the Bayern has. But the difference is here that you also have 8 100mm heavy anti-aircraft guns that are not listed here. However, so you don't really compromise your heavy AA capabilities, unlike when using the secondaries on the hood. So that is actually pretty good. 8-second reload is decent, I'd say, and you have an effective DPM of 30 rounds per minute, but they are actually not really that needed. However, let's have a look at the ammunition. And again, we can see it's quite interesting. We have here by quite a bit with 333mm the highest penetration, with a 1.7 kilogram heavy TNT warhead, also the most potent APHE shells, and again the second fastest secondary shells with 950 meters per second. DHE is also quite good, 50mm of penetration, 6 kilograms of TNT equivalent warhead, and again here 950 meters per second muzzle velocity. And the SAP shells are again a Soviet fantasy, 172 millimeters of penetration, nearly 6 kilograms of TNT warhead, and that also slung at the enemy with 950 meters per second. So again, the secondaries by themselves, if it would be more, they would be more usable, but you have those fantastic main guns, and so while they are really capable and good, they're not really that needed. So let's have a look at the rest. Let's have a look at the torpedoes, and we can see that the Kronshtadt doesn't have any torpedoes like the USS Arizona, and I have never actually come into the situation where I would have needed them. So that's not really an actual minus in the current meta. Second, the displacement with 41,540 tons is only beaten by the mighty Hood herself. Top speed is the fastest with 61 kilometers per hour, but again the penalty from damaged funnels is enormous, so keep those funnels operational if you want to go quickly somewhere. And with the crew complement of 1,406, you actually can survive quite the beating if you manage your damage con just right. So this has been the statistical analysis of the Kronshtadt, which is just a male Soviet fantasy. I'm sorry about this, but as you can see in the gameplay, those guns just don't take any prisoners, and again it's just the really hard focus firing that I have never experienced in any other ship before, that really puts you down and denies you inflicting serious damage on the enemy. At first I thought that this ship would be food for the Scharnhorst, and it kind of should be. However, the problem is that we are looking here at very modern, very capable guns, and the Scharnhorst's guns and ammunition just don't have a chance. The discrepancy is just too big. Still, the Scharnhorst can surprise it in a melee attack, and the Turtleback is still effective, and the Scharnhorst is not a walkover. I want to clarify this. So how do you play this ship? Well, the first thing is stay at range and focus those enemies that fire at you. You are actually more threatened by HE spammers due to War Thunder damage control mechanics, etc., than you are by, let's say, an enemy battleship firing AP at you. You can endure that more than HE spam, which is quite interesting. This has to be due to the amazing 90 millimeters of deck armor. So stay at range, angle, use your DPM, and just try to kill as much as possible without running out of ammunition, because that might be the only disadvantage of the ship, that it can run out of ammunition. And that's basically it for the ship. I think it's at the moment too strong. The HE is just inflicting too much flooding, too much fire, and I think that the damage mechanic changes now make sense looking at this ship from the perspective of the developer. It feels like a lot of things are just made to please the Kronshtadt player. It's that great. And to be honest, that is one of the reasons why I cannot really enjoy this ship, because it feels a bit like handheld. The accuracy of the guns is amazing. The really flat trajectories of the HE shells is just something to behold and unprecedented in War Thunder naval forces. This is just something that has to be really pointed out. This is a powerful, powerful ship. And it's really strange because also the previous Russian battleships are very powerful with their 12-inch guns, so this is a good predecessor you can see in the tech tree. And I absolutely recommend, if you want to grind any naval ship at the moment, it should be the Kronshtadt. Bayern, sadly not the killing machine that it's supposed to be. Hood, sadly not as mighty as one would believe. And the US battleships, forget about them. Italian tech tree has been forgotten. What are even the French? You know, this is how Gaijin treats naval forces. It's all just down to how amazing the Russian Navy was during World War II, and with their advanced designs. You know, it's a fantasy. This is just, when you play it, how people started throwing around the Russian bias thing. This ship is really it. If you play it, you feel it. If you have to face it, you just ask yourself, what the hell is this thing? If it is played properly and correctly, that is. And that is all that I have to say for the Kronshtadt. Again, amazing, maybe too amazing, but who am I to judge? That's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did. For you, it's just a click. For me, it means the world. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share this link with your friends, clanmates, and whoever else you can annoy with this link with. And, you know, we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.